Welcome to For the Story, the only podcast that just wants to talk to its daughter. Please return my phone calls, Karen. My name's Avery.
And I'm Ash. This week, we watched Strangers with Candy.
Yes, we did. Stranger Things 3.
With
I don't
candy.
know, there was no candy. With candy.
That's the subtitle.
The subtitle.
Do you think everyone can hear it if I clip my toenails while we record?
Honestly, I would be disappointed if you didn't clip your toenails while we record.
We're just
Don't
leaning.
actually, please.
We're just leaning into
I hear
me
you like
having
thinking about it.
I'm like looking. I'm like, it's kind of a far reach for me to grab my toenail clippers, but Avery wants me to do it, and I want to be a good friend to him.
It's for the fans. Thanks for thinking about me while you're clipping your toenails. That's great.
Yeah, no, I always think about my good friends when I clip my toenails. I wonder what they're up to.
Oh my god, they could be anywhere. They're probably clipping their toenails. Who knows?
Yeah, Brotherhood of the Clippering Toenails.
And like you save them and mail them to each other.
It's just like split screens. It's like every time you go on a trip, you have to bring
disgusting.
those toenail clippers.
Oh my god. Wow.
You have the toenails in a jar.
Did you bring them, bro?
Somehow they
Of
work
course,
on all of
bro.
our feet, and there's just a guy in the grocery store like, yeah, they're toenail clippers. They
They're
work on
universal.
everyone.
One size fits all.
That's every
Somehow
toenail
they
clipper.
fit all of us perfectly. This is disgusting.
Did I tell you? I
It's
told
like,
you,
you know
my fucking bad movie pitch, right? Or great movie pitch.
Yeah.
About
Let's hear it
mosquitoes?
again.
Okay.
Oh my god, I actually like this one.
Yeah,
a lot.
it's fucking
Yeah.
great. And if anyone takes it, I will sue you.
Yeah, go ahead and drop it.
So everyone says like, ecologically, mosquitoes don't fucking matter. And Google's like killed off mosquitoes by introducing, genes that get rid of them. And what if mosquitoes bit us to protect us from something darker, more sinister, something we couldn't have predicted within humans? Like, they became zombies after the mosquitoes are gone. Pretty cool. And, like, someone's like a mosquitologist, and like it starts with them giving a class, and everyone's like, this sucks. And she's like, yeah, everyone's going to take me seriously one day. And then like the mosquito-based apocalypse happened, and then everyone becomes zombies, except for certain people who are from certain parts of the world where they don't have mosquitoes, because that's a plot hole.
Are there parts of the world that is like Canada maybe? Probably doesn't have mosquitoes.
There are
Russia.
parts of Canada, but definitely like more like frigid areas don't have mosquitoes.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, that's weird. I feel like I've always thought of mosquitoes as something that's just like really, really widespread. Probably like parts of Siberia don't.
But
right.
I feel like that kind of plays into like pretty classic zombie lore, right? Where like
it does.
Like, it doesn't survive in the cold. Like, that's not unheard of zombie lore.
Oh yeah, because they would freeze and then shatter into a million pieces. Right.
I'd love that, like that shot, where it's just
Yeah,
like crossing.
I can
a
already
certain
envision it.
threshold, and like the mosquito, you just see it like shatter. That's fucking awesome. Anyway, that's my great movie pitch. Don't steal it.
We love it.
What should we call it?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something like witty.
Yeah, I can't think of anything witty. Like,
it would be
needles.
like needles, skeeters.
No.
just something just like so like I'm already thinking of something that like I would scroll past on Netflix.
Yeah,
the movie Skeeters is something I would scroll past, I think.
I think if we ever make a movie, it has to be like very passable. Like, you could see it with the thumbnail and be like, no, but like, secretly it's a great movie because we're geniuses.
Yeah. Or like if we ever make a movie, it's like it has a great title and a great thumbnail and an awful plot.
Yeah. No, it's
or a decent plot but horrible special effects.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be one thing that's just holding it down.
Yeah.
Just like so far.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that like by our very nature, we wouldn't have fun if we made a perfect movie. We could. We're smart enough. We're brilliant, genius podcasters.
Yeah. Genius, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just the one thing is that like bad movies are just so funny that it's hard to not like almost want to make one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I took myself like too seriously, I would try to make a perfect movie and then be a perfectionist about it and end up blowing it. But if I, but if I like was like I'm gonna make a horrible movie, it would probably end up being just legitimately horrible, not even funny.
But I think we would have to make it like some kind of bizarre theater of the mind where it's like we're like Stanley Kubrick on the set of The Shining, but we're making a terrible movie.
Exactly.
Like,
and we would be compared to the Kubricks of our time. I mean,
absolutely. We would have like someone who, I don't know, someone very odd playing like Kenny G, but on Moog synthesizer. We'd have Slash, but he's playing bongos, like crazy.
But he's playing the didgeridoo.
I can play
An all didgeridoo soundtrack also sounds great. Yeah, I actually like didgeridoo is just acoustic dubstep, so I'm like I can kind of get into it.
Yeah,
right?
and you can make animal noises. I can play the didgeridoo. I'm not even joking.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool. Do you have one? Should we redo our intro with the didgeridoo? Oh my god. You just send me all these tracks and I spend like 30 hours editing them to make it sound passable.
I'm kind of embarrassed by it. Let's just scrap it. And
just scrap it. And you're like No, that sounds like torture. Our poor listeners. We're not doing that.
It's already so twangy.
It's already so bad. Yeah. No. Our intro is very good. Honestly, we have perfectly
Spencer.
understated it. Yeah, thank you, Spencer. Our intro is very good. It's perfectly understated. It fits what we do, and it sounds like our sleazy porno roots, right?
Yeah.
So
Sleazy Porno Roots is actually a porno we didn't review. It was of the television program about slaves called Roots.
It's just the sleazy porno version.
Yeah, there actually was a porno Roots that I would see come up during my searches for movies, and I would just go,
"Oh, it's too meta."
I'm just like no.
It's like for the story meta.
Yeah, we're not going to watch a slave adult film. Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're not.
For next week.
Talk about exploitation. That's horrible. Yeah, right. Stay tuned for next week. Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
all right. So we're definitely trying to fill time. Because this week we actually don't have any budget statistics for you for Stranger Things 3. It's a Netflix show, and I don't think they release any of that stuff. They also, occasionally
it doesn't have any box office information. Like,
yeah, exactly. That too.
How many subscribers does Netflix have? Super exciting stuff, guys.
We could speculate on the budget. But I think anything regarding the budget is pretty much speculation. I'm pretty sure Netflix never releases that shit.
Well, did you know that I'm looking at it now, each drop of blood that comes out of Eleven's nose costs $250,000 and has to be produced by a small village of day laborers to make it the perfect shade of dark red?
I actually heard that that perfect shade of dark red is because it comes from the villagers, the day labor villagers, annually denoted virgin to be sacrificed to the Netflix gods.
That's virgin
and that's why
blood?
it looks so pure. That's virgin blood, man.
That's crazy.
That's virgin blood.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Yo,
I know.
I love the scene where Drake tries to pick up Millie Bobby Brown. Is that fucked up?
Yeah, that is fucked up. I forgot Drake was in Stranger Things 3.
Do you remember that whole thing?
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. He came into the store.
No, like the actual
got arrested.
The actual thing with Drake and Millie Bobby Brown.
That's not a real thing.
No, yeah, it was a thing.
Oh my god, I thought you were fucking with me. I was just I could ride with this joke. That's horrible.
No, I was making a joke based on an actual thing where apparently him and Millie Bobby Brown, who's 16 at the time, would text about boys. Which is not okay.
Dude, and this is Drake. I knew he wasn't a martyr.
I knew
that guy claiming he's God's plan.
Yeah. He's
what
more
a
like God's flan. If you mess with him, he'll collapse.
Yeah. Dude, he tried to tell them, though. You know, he tried to tell them. Dude, of course. He's probably just as fucked up as R. Kelly.
Yeah.
But he's got, right? He's got to be. People that are, that rich and have that kind of a God complex, there's no way they're normal people. There's just no way.
No,
you know?
So I don't see it with Millie Bobby. I just don't.
I mean, she's cute, but she's a child.
Yeah, she's
right?
someone who perennially looks like she's 13. You know,
yeah,
she looks younger than
because she's a child.
Yeah.
You know, it's just she's a pretty young girl. There you go. She's perfect as a nice young actress.
Yeah,
that's great. You know, I don't think that she's necessarily bad either. I think she's actually pretty decently solid as an actress. Mm-hmm. She's cute. She's a child.
You've changed your tune since King of Monsters. These last months have changed
I don't think that that's her kind of role. I did not like her in that movie at all. But I don't think I liked anybody in that movie because that movie wasn't about the humans. So
despite what the directors wanted.
Yeah, I know. Like the directors really, really, really didn't want to have to spend more money on an effects budget. Mm-hmm. So they're like, look at these humans that are involved here.
Wow, but people, Bradley Cooper.
Ash, I got a weirdo fucking movie that I watched.
Oh, let's hear it.
Weirdo movie. I was scrolling. It was late at night. Actually, I'm just kidding. This was yesterday after I got off of work. But I sat down on the couch and I opened up Shudder and I found a movie called Big Man Japan. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It came out in 2007. Great year for movies, by the way. 2007, solid year for movies. But Big Man Japan. It was about this. It was all in Japanese. It was about this guy who was like a total slacker, but basically whenever a giant monster attacks Tokyo, he turns into an 80-foot like overweight dude with tattoos, and he has a big stick that he hits him with. And it was totally absurd. Like so absurd that it is extremely noteworthy. And if you get an opportunity to see Big Man Japan, you're going to think it's horrible and the effects are awful, but trust me, it's worth it because it is a strange movie. So Big Man Japan, all in Japanese, very fucking weird. Just look up some shots from Big Man Japan if you ever get a chance, because I just love saying Big Man Japan. I can't get over it.
That was I feel like that could be your nickname. Big Man Japan. Oh God,
dude, are you looking it up?
Oh my God, it's like if The Rock was a troll doll.
It's horrible. There's one monster that comes to the city, and his evil monster thing is that he just smells really bad, and so Big Man Japan, instead of fighting him, just argues with him for like 2 minutes and tries to force him to leave. It is so fucking strange. Like it is one of the most bizarre movies.
Fat as you made him sound.
He's built, but he's kind of fat.
He's got like a gut, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a weird movie
about Japan, but it doesn't roll off the tongue.
Ash, this is one movie that I will never force you to watch, so don't worry.
You're a sweetheart, Avery, but I'd actually like to watch this.
You want to see it now? Oh my God, should we review this? Because I would love to. It ends. The ending is so inexplicable. It's nonsense. I fucking loved it. I loved how nonsensical it was. So if you want to talk about this, like, I'm totally down. Maybe sometime next month.
I definitely might. I'll get back to you on this.
Yeah, hell yeah. But anyway, Ash, did you watch anything of note?
Yeah. I watched The Last Jedi, which I had never watched before.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't get why people hate it, but I also don't really like Star Wars. I thought it was a pretty standard Star Wars movie. Even the stuff that it gets a lot of flack for, I'm just like, eh. It's still like got enough money that it looks great, and like there was some bad fight choreography stuff during that Red Room scene.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Where just people are spinning around for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Apparently, like I've been reading, kind of gearing up for the Rise of Skywalker, that they had like really heavy props for the lightsabers, so they were going really slow, and all the stunt people had to like make up time because the blocking was going so slow for Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. Yeah, it was interesting. But
that is interesting.
Yeah, so they made them lighter for Rise of Skywalker, so I'm hoping the choreography is a little
more
bit
like quick choreography. That is like a really interesting thing that you would like never take into consideration. Why don't they just use the same props for
between
every
movies?
Movie?
I don't know. I think they've been trying to ramp up the speed and like kind of because they have to compete with fucking like John Wick and like movies that care about their stunts.
Yeah,
it comes from like that OG Star Wars thing of like, I will hold the lightsaber and move it slightly forward. Like it's It's gone from like British gentleman fencing to like fucking crazy shit. And then I also
backflips and all sorts of absurd shit.
I had my date over, and we watched. She had never seen Tusk, so I showed her Tusk.
Okay.
And in one of my favorite moments, I was just pretending that all the actors in it were different people. Like the old man, I said that it was Bryan Cranston. And then I said that the French inspector was Woody Harrelson. And then I said, no, that's Johnny Depp. And then it turns out I was right. It was Johnny Depp.
Oh, my God.
And then everyone in the movie was Johnny Depp. It was a great bit. I like that.
Oh, wow. That's so good.
Just, hey,
man.
You know who that is, right? Like, and just someone who looks vaguely like them and just be very insistent on it.
Dude, that's Johnny Depp.
Dude, you might not believe it.
Did you? That guy in Midsummer, that's Seth Rogen.
Yeah, she didn't believe that either.
Oh, God. It looked so much like him. It could have been his brother. But at risk of getting into that again, what do we do now? We don't have a budget breakdown. We don't even know what to do when we have a budget breakdown.
I'm going to put in a rap that I make up for Stranger Things right here. Wow, Ash, real good rapping.
Wow, so good. I'm glad you guys just listened to our 35-minute, 12-verse rap that Ash wrote about Stranger Things.
All right.
Wow,
someone get me my beats. I need to make
like your Beats by Dre.
Someone hand me the fire, please.
And those Beats by Dre, burn them to the ground.
Can we get a 144 beat per minute beat? Make it trappy. That's me ordering from the kitchen. No?
Oh,
okay.
man. All right.
Let's talk about Stranger Things.
All right. So
what are your expectations for Stranger Things season 3?
I'm so glad you asked me. I'm so ready to talk about this. I am of the belief that television consistently gets worse the further out it is serialized. Mm-hmm. That it starts off great. You have a great concept. It's awesome. You have a decent first season that ramps up, an excellent second season, an almost as good third season, and then progressively dropping as the show goes on. Typically, at least for like television shows, shorter form. Shows nowadays kind of are like perfect first season, okay second season, okay third season. Forever. Stranger Things has outdone itself for the first time. The first season was super excellent. The second season, I was like, this is good. This isn't bad. And then, but wasn't as good. It was not as good, but it wasn't. It wasn't bad, I don't think. So anyway, the episode that was like kind of like holding season 2 back was that one where 11 just goes off and like joins a gang and talks to some really cringy characters that.
And like comes out as Heath as what's his face Joker? Yeah, not Heath Ledger.
Exactly. What's the more recent one? Was it Jared Leto? Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto. Joker.
Yeah. Or like I don't know, Trent Reznor from the early '90s.
Or just the film adaptation of The Outsiders.
I actually haven't seen the film adaptation of The Outsiders, but I can imagine.
It's exactly how you imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
no, that whole season is just like keep 11 out of the
they didn't
the TV show.
Know what to do. They didn't know what to do with her.
Because she's going to close the riff at the end of the show, and if she's near it, then what's the fucking point?
That is the only reason she's in that entire season, and it's so lame. And it's interesting because the character I thought that they were gonna struggle with writing back in was Will. I was like, what the hell are they gonna do with Will? And they actually did a pretty they did okay. It was like it's like a PTSD kind of thing. I thought that worked way better than just basically writing 11 out of the show for like most of it. And so
I don't know. She's like very plot devicey, especially in that season. I don't know.
Yeah, it gets a little bit better, I think, in the third one. I have a lot to say about the third one. It's just so much better, dude.
It's not. She is so holding her hands up and screaming still.
Yeah, she does a lot of that. She's never really been my favorite part of that show anyway, so I'm like, whatever, it's fine. Steve's my favorite part of the whole show. Best character. Best character hands down. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Ash, I want to hear what your expectations were for... Oh, I'm not finished. Wait, 1 second. Because I expected...
Don't hurt me.
I expected season
Avery
3...
pulled a knife.
I expected season 3 to sag even further than season 2 did. I was just like, this is going to burn itself out into obsolescence. I was pleasantly surprised that that was not the case. And Ash, I'm curious what your expectations are now.
My expectations were, yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that's me with most Netflix TV shows. Like I get excited for like even Jessica Jones season 3. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Whatever. I didn't like season 2 of that either.
Oh, yeah.
I was more pleasantly surprised with Jessica Jones in this one. It was kind of exactly what I expected. It was a Stranger Things season, and because it came out on 4th of July weekend, they used fireworks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whatever.
No, it's just it's as soon as they announced that, I'm like, oh, they're gonna attack a monster with fireworks.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's totally gonna happen. It's a movie about children who, I don't know. You know. That was a little predictable. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. I was just,
like, when are they gonna attack something with fireworks? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of them too. Like that scene and we both know what scene that is. Before we get into too many spoilers in our pros and cons section, that scene they had infinite fireworks. They didn't run out until like the plot needed them to. It's like bullets in a action
John
movie.
Wick. Yeah, John Wick bullets.
Yeah, it's like John Wick bullets. Exactly. There's just so many. So great.
All right.
We like to start with our pros, don't we?
We do. We should start with cons one of these times. Not this time, but I'm just saying one of these times.
One of these days. We'll mix it up. I think it's good.
Should start out negative.
I think it's good to look at what you liked about the movie before you start ripping it apart. Because I have a feeling if we start with cons, we are just going to talk cons. We'll have an hour of us just talking about the cons. But, all right. So, when it comes to Stranger Things 3, Steve's character got even better. He was good in the second one. He gets his ass kicked every season, and every season it's just so satisfying. His arc has been so good. Steve, favorite character, MVP of the show. I wouldn't like that show nearly as much if Steve wasn't in that show. I'm just gonna say it, just flat out. Yeah. What about you? Come on, we trade.
Okay.
You have something.
Yeah. No. I liked the scene. Well, I like Max. Max is a good addition.
Yeah.
Even though it does make it like, man, there are so many characters.
Yeah, there are a lot of characters.
They gotta I guess they got rid of Billy, which was good, but also not because I liked Billy. Billy was fun. Mm-hmm. The battle of the hair. Come on, him versus Steve. The best part of season 2.
Easily the best part of season 2 was him. Their rivalry. So good. Because Steve was kind of the douchebag character in this, and then it's just like what happens when the even bigger douchebag comes to town. Yeah, it just makes sense. Yeah, it's like the escalation.
The new douche in town.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I liked. I mean, they definitely gave a lot of money to the special effects, and the one hospital scene that creature looked really. I didn't really like the big bad, but that fucking toothy thing.
Oh yeah,
was awesome. I
thought the effects they've been gradually getting better season by season, but it actually surprised me this time how much better it looked and how disgusting and like horrific that creature really was. I was like, that's gross.
I was like, I literally I was just cooking in my kitchen watching it, and I was just like, this is scarier than it normally is. That's cool.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I think the fact that also it's made from the jellified corpses or the gooified corpses of people you knew kind of makes it even worse. It's just well, that person's not coming back. That character is dead now. But then again, they never killed any of the characters we like in that way. And the one character that they did kill is definitely not dead.
And also, not a good guy.
Yeah, he's really not. But we'll talk about that.
He's a bad person.
He is, but it gives him a little bit more depth because he's a conflicted person. Yes,
He's not complete. He's just a bad guy.
I just
What's
disagree.
good about him? What's good about him?
Okay, so he knows he has flaws, and he will admit them. He takes responsibility for his awful actions.
Does he take How does he take responsibility?
He always admits it. There was always that heartfelt scene with him.
That's not responsibility.
Yeah, it is. He admits it. That's taking responsibility for it and apologizing and being like, I need to learn.
Responsibility would be like punishing yourself in some. I guess
what?
he sacrifices himself.
Yeah, he does. First of all, yes, he does. But also, taking responsibility isn't punishing yourself next. That's masochism.
It's accepting. it's accepting punishment for your wrongdoings.
Okay,
not just being like, oh, sorry. Like, and he wasn't really sorry. That last thing that he wrote that way back. He's
oh yeah, yeah, okay,
yeah. He just did. It's not like he wrote that for her before he like sacrificed himself. It's like, I need to apologize. He like wrote it and he was never gonna fucking show it to her. So did he really own up to anything?
Not really, kind of in a half-assed way.
11 got locked in a room by the guy who created her, and then he adopted her and locked her in a room for what apparently was like 3 years. He's not a good person.
For 3 years. Was it 3 years? No.
Yeah, it was like 2 years later.
Oh wow.
So, and then the previous season he was also doing that. So he just locked her in her room for like
I don't
years.
know. I like to think that as the time went on, she was gradually allowed to venture out and do her own thing.
She wasn't allowed to, though.
She was.
They constantly commented on, you're not allowed to be here at the mall.
Ah, well, whatever. I still like Hopper.
Yeah.
Although, you have to admit, watching him beat people's ass, extremely satisfying, right?
No,
yes,
because where's his giant red fist? No, it was like not. It was so boring.
I just disagree. I got my heart
predicated on what? Like, how did it get your heart pounding? He was just punching people very normally.
Yeah, but like then he had to fight Arnold Schwarzenegger, or the guy who was just the Terminator. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, you mean underdeveloped character number 7?
Yes. So, and it was good.
You have 8 episodes, and you stuffed all your plot into 2 episodes. I hated it.
Yeah, they did spread it pretty thin. But it's just, it kind of comes with the territory with them making 8-hour-long movies, you know? And it allows them to have 15 different characters. But you're so mad. I liked it a lot, man. I loved it. I like the callback to movies that I know. I like the kids. I think they're all cute. I loved the fucking lighting. I know we talked about this.
The lighting was good. Yeah,
the lighting was excellent.
I'll give you that.
It was like kind of dull and gray in the first 2 seasons, and they must have like fired that guy because whatever they did for the lighting in this one, like fucking popped. It was like blues and reds and just looked really fucking good.
Red, white, and blue.
I don't know if they did it.
Amen.
Oh my god. You think they did it on purpose?
The real heroes are the people that sleep with troops' girlfriends and wives while they're deployed.
Oh, man, that's fucked up, dude. That is fucked up. But
uncensored.
But
edgy.
But you know, it's I just liked it, man. I just really liked it. And it's like I like all the characters. I think all the kids are great. I don't even care if they're undeveloped. It's just like this hit every single beat that I like to see in a movie. And it's weird because the way the action shots are blocked, the way the dialogue is paced, all of that stuff is so much more like a movie than it is a TV show. And I think that's kind of why I like it too. Because it is kind of, it's more like a movie than it is a TV show. You know, there isn't just long, drawn out, no background music shots of 2 people talking like in Game of Thrones, you know? See what I mean?
No, there's like, there's that.
But there's not. Or at least the ones that were there.
No. I mean, it's got that going for it.
All right, I got you. Yeah. That's good. It was good. It's really well paced. It's really well paced.
I just disagree.
Yeah.
To quote my wonderful co-host, I just disagree.
That's okay. It wouldn't be a good show if we didn't disagree. But
I sincerely disagree. I just think this is a very a season of Stranger Things.
It was just so much better than the first two. It just was.
It just was shinier.
Yeah, goddamn right it was. It looked great. And, like, I thought the idea of, like, the Russians being villains again, so much fun.
Oh, I am so over Russian villains, dude.
I am glad they're coming back.
Why?
I mean, think
like,
they're funny. They're so comically evil. It's just like they're just evil just to be evil.
It's like Germans. It's like I would have. So it's in the 80s, right? It's like 83.
Yeah.
Would have loved like a subplot of like the gas crisis where they're trying to get into the Upside Down for an untapped fuel source.
Oh, that actually that's cool. Would be cool.
That's fucking better than like Russian goons.
Well,
who again, there's a vagina in the world that leads to the Upside Down, and it needs to be closed for the second season in a row.
Yeah, so
third season in a row.
Fucking works. It worked. Yeah,
only if you like
don't even
not looked at straight.
It worked.
Even if it's only if it's your first time seeing a vagina. Freaking got you, dude. I just owned you. What does it feel like, dude?
Oh my god. Yeah, and
Rob!
Oh my god.
Rob!
So
he's making fun of me.
This is it. I quit. He doesn't like Stranger Things. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It just all looked good. It was all fun. I remember thinking specifically after watching the second season, man, that was dull. That's exactly what I expected it to not live up to the first season. And I felt the exact opposite after watching this one. I was like, man, my heart's pounding. Man, I'm invested. This is kind of dumb, but man, I love it. And I just loved it.
I just didn't have like there was no moment quite as impactful for me as like the lights scene in the first season of Stranger Things.
The which one? Sorry.
The lights?
What do you mean?
The Christmas lights scene?
Oh yeah, that is pretty excellent, isn't it?
That is like, that is kind of the defining moment from season 1, and they've never touched anything like that. And like scenes like that are why I love Stranger Things season 1.
Yeah.
Like this is a good schlocky, actiony, sci-fi horror.
But that's
thing.
what I like. Don't you get
I know
it?
That's what you like.
That's exactly what I like.
I like character development, and so that's why we differ.
I like character development in a movie that I'm really watching for that, to be honest. I really like that most of the characters...
There's no reason to not have both.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But a lot of the characters kind of have already seen their development. Maybe I'm wrong there. That's just not true.
Yeah, like maybe Steve's developed.
Steve's arc has been great. And don't even try to tell me that it hasn't been. That's why he's the best character.
I literally said I'll give you a Steve.
Hell yeah.
You have a bunch of kids who have been like fighting demons, and they're all fine. They're all just well-adjusted kids.
Yeah. They're all the same kid.
And like, why do the two straight-haired brunettes look like ghosts of Victorian dolls?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's just like there is one thing, like when there was only 4 kids, they kind of seemed a little more differentiated, but like now that there's like 8 of them and they're just multiplying, it's like kind of getting harder to differentiate them. Like the thing is part of the problem, and they tried with the character of Will, right? They tried. He was taken out of the first season in the first episode and wasn't back in the show until the last episode. So there was really 3 kids in the first season, if you know what I mean.
No,
then they had
11.
I guess 4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but
so
11 had her own distinction.
Season.
That's the thing. One, she was a girl. 2, she
girl.
Yeah, exactly. And she also had like magic psionic powers. So it's just like that's good. That worked. It didn't. Then they brought her in later. They didn't just introduce her in the first episode with all the other kids, and then all of a sudden she has psionic powers. That would have been bad. But like once they brought Will back in because they had to, because they found him. And part of the best moments of season 1 is when they were finding Will and trying to figure out the mystery. But once they brought him back in for season 1, they were like, oh fuck, we just have another kid who is kind of exactly like one of the other kids. What are we going to do? And so they were just like, oh, he gets possessed again. Or whatever. Or no, this time he gets possessed. And then in this one, it's kind of like he still has the PTSD from that. And they tried by making it so like he can like feel the creature coming at the back of his neck. And the only things that happen for his character is that one, he wants the other guys to play D&D because he's not ready to grow up yet, which is kind of like the beginning of his arc, I think. I think they're gonna explore that further,
also,
but
the time jump really just makes it hard for me.
Yeah.
You know? Like he's not gone to, like, is he going to therapy? Like, what's going on? I guess therapy's not big in the 80s.
yeah, maybe not.
But
I think they're just like,
in
well,
Hawkins.
he's back. He'll probably be okay, right? I kind of think that's what because I don't know. I feel like that's what parents did in the 80s. You know?
Yeah. Rub some dirt in it.
I mean, like, their parents were all drinking water from lead pipes probably when they were children.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, which is why they're also deranged.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Winona Ryder's eye keeps twitching.
Like, I mean, if you think about it, like, their parents probably lived in a time when there was leaded gasoline, right? Wasn't that a thing? There was just lead in the air,
dude.
Until like the 70s, there was just like lead in the air everywhere. I think that's what like that's how it was. I don't know. Maybe
they would fill Zeppelins with it, I think.
Oh my god. It's just like, can you think, that into asbestos, which I don't think was removed from houses until like the 70s.
And definitely lead paint.
Yeah, and lead paint.
That was.
So like,
which makes kids violent, by the way.
Yeah, it does, because it causes brain damage, right? Like lead.
That would have been a great Billy arc.
Oh my god, dude.
He just is eating paint chips,
dude,
and he's just
that's why he's so violent. That's why he's such a sack of shit. But it made him a good character. Like, he was such a he seemed like a tossed in addition, right? But he ended up being like the best character in season 2. So
yeah, and they reveal his storied past in this season, and no one could guess it. He had a bad dad.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, they tease it a little bit. Like, they said enough in the second season, really. When his dad comes in and like punches him in the face, and he's just like, "Go find your fucking daughter," and makes him be like, "I respect you," and shit like that. You know, like, that says enough. You don't even need to know anything beyond that, because you know exactly how that guy's childhood went. You know, it's been like that since he was a kid. And so it's like, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Billy getting possessed by the... Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You know,
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Billy,
get into it.
Billy getting possessed by the demon in this one, I think was a good use of his character, because it's kind of hard to see what else he would have done. But it's disappointing because when he's not possessed, he's honestly just a good character already.
Yeah. You have my 100% support.
Yeah.
And like, kind of at the end, he like sacrifices himself. I'm like, this is unearned.
No, totally
unearned.
This
is super unearned.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah.
It's just like
I mean, it was a cool scene. I just wish that, what did they abducted him in the second episode?
Yeah.
Give it to me episode 4. Give me a little more Billy. Give me a little bit of complexity to that character before he's possessed, and then we can kind of play with that.
Or like, it feels like doubly unearned, because Billy, the entire time they try to like appeal to his humanity, when he's possessed, it's like unflinching. He doesn't for a second like turn and be like, what am I doing? No, he doesn't even do that. He just still keeps walking forward and trying to kill children. But if there was like a flash, like a couple episodes earlier, where it's like, he's like, oh my god, what am I doing? Just that line right there, it probably would have made that ending feel a little more earned. Because it would have kind of felt like he was actually on their side, but the creature was just possessing him. Instead, it almost kind of seemed like he wanted to work with the monster. He wasn't really fighting it. So
yeah, and like, it's not like they gave him a more compelling argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it was kind of the same argument, and he's like, oh yeah, no, this time I get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, he wouldn't have sacrificed, based on what you know about Billy's character, he probably wouldn't have sacrificed himself for those kids if he had the choice, and he did. So it's like, kind of like, I don't know, maybe like it works because it kind of makes you think, like, it is right after they try to get you to appeal to like be empathetic towards Billy. Like, he actually really just had kind of a shitty life, and then all leading up to this, which is like the shittiest thing that could happen. So it's kind of like, okay. And it's kind of good that they didn't like gooify him and just like absorb him immediately. That would have been horrific and like really kind of like a slap to the face.
Yeah.
So.
But I still feel like that was the big takeaway from season 2. I was wanting a Billy arc.
Yeah.
That was kind of more defined than that.
Like the arc.
I mean, he was great as an evil guy, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. So like, the veiny fucking, because he's fucking ripped and he's got the bad hair, and it's perfect. Yeah. It's like 80s action movie schlock. Yeah.
And he's already kind of like, already kind of like a psychopath, so it kind of fell in line with it too. Like, he's a violent person. So it's like, it kind of made sense. And
Yeah, I would have loved some level of like compulsion, or he's promised something, or he like directly can communicate with
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
like so we can have more of a conflict.
right,
It would have been better.
promise something
But
would have been really good. It's just
Yeah.
like, see, like Billy's arc is technically there, but it really only it's only in like the last episode that it happens, because up until then there's really no change from the time that he's affected by the monster to the last episode, and then the arc is present, and it's just not
Yeah.
really enough. But
and you know, he does have some progression. Avery, he has more black veins CGI'd on his body.
right, he looked awesome though. Like
He did look like
yeah,
that hospital, or the scene where he's in the sauna,
Dude.
and then like they fight in the weight room, which rip off of Punisher season 2. But that's just the point.
that fight in that weight room was fucking tight. I thought that was like so excellent. I loved how like just unstoppable he was. It's like so cool. So yeah, that was
Didn't matter how much of a nosebleed 11 had, he was gonna get back up and keep fighting.
yeah. So, but you know,
I think at one point they had her do 2 nosebleeds instead of
Yeah,
just the one.
they had-
I was just like, oh,
you know, she really
God.
means it when she holds one arm up and then she holds the other arm up and screams. There's just a lot of that.
dude.
You are right.
We gotta learn as a society that telekinesis, wildly cool power in your own mind, not really interesting to watch.
Yeah, it's like I think it's interesting because it seems like there's not really enough. Well, maybe that's not totally true, because she does like get faint and pass out sometimes after she uses her powers really hard, because she has to like recharge. So maybe
It's just not really a visual
it's
thing.
not a visual thing. Yeah,
guess.
but they did a good job, I think, in this, working with what they had. Especially like there's that shot where she just picks Billy up and lifts him off his feet and his arms are all out. I thought that shit was fucking awesome. That like worked really well.
Yeah, it works well with other people.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
would I rather watch Professor Xavier read minds, or watch Cyclops shoot laser beams out of his face?
Exactly.
Well, I'd rather watch the laser beams, sir.
Laser beams are
If I
fun.
could.
They're just so much
Laser
fun.
beam. Fireworks are fun.
So we kind of started to touch on some cons, but let's officially move
It's
over to
become
the cons.
very,
yeah.
it's become very freeform at this
Yeah.
point.
There's a lot to talk
I
about. But
I talked about my pitch for energy source over Russians. I just like, especially right now, I feel like we just watched Shape of Water, which was also like a
Russian.
they're Russians
It seems like
because
really
they're
coincidental,
Russians.
didn't it? It just felt very like, I don't know. Well, yeah.
It didn't like, whenever it doesn't have to be the Soviets, I always go, why is it the Soviets?
Yeah.
Like, I guess they're like a good
They're just
technological.
they're just villainous, and they're
equal.
always doing like secret villainous things. It's great.
Would have loved I just think like there are so many other groups I would love, like moronic Irish mob who's like, hey, maybe we get in the upside down.
That doesn't make
yeah, I
any
think-
sense.
Exactly. Like, I just like, I think that the upside down is so nebulous. You could put literally anyone there, and you know, it's like either Germans or Russians. I'm just like, snooze. Give me someone exciting. Give me the Vietnamese. Give me the Koreans. Give me, you know, oil barons who have come into the country.
Yeah, I do like the idea of oil barons. One thing I think was really cool that they touched on, though, on a like more real level, is, and they show it at the beginning, and they kind of, you know, bring it up at like the almost like having the Russians affiliated with the mall, is that like in the 80s, that's like what happened, literally happened. Shopping malls opened up, and then all of like main streets closed down. Shops on Main Street closed down. And we're only just now starting to see a resurgence of the idea of a Main Street America. And it's in the 80s that happened. You know, all that shit closed down, and then, you know, a whole bunch of businesses went out of business. And that's when big box stores opened up and shit like that. That's when that all changed, man. So I like that they touch on that.
That was a good
And they
one.
do
Yeah,
demonize
I do
it a
like
little
that.
bit too, which I think is also good. Because it is kind of like, it is very, I don't know, predatorial. But, yeah.
Yeah. So my big con for all of season 3 is there are 2 plots going on and 4 groups that are tracking those plots. And it's kind of repetitious. You have the Russians with the group of Steve, the girl whose name I'm forgetting.
Robin. What's her character's
Erica,
name? Is?
Yeah, Robin, Erica, and Dustin. Now we have just 2 more kids. Yay! Is the same as Hopper, Alexei, and Winona Ryder.
Yeah, they're tracking down the Russians, and then all of the other
both
kids
doing the same things. And
all of the other kids are going up against the monster, basically.
Yeah, and then, it's like Jonathan and oh god, I forgot her name.
Nancy.
Too many characters. Nancy, thank you. They're tracking like the monsters through like the journalism element, and then the rest of the kids are tracking the monsters because 11.
Yeah.
It it gives you a lot of different angles, but I can't help but think if they shrunk down the cast, they could have gotten all those angles still in the 2 groups.
Yeah, I think a problem is that they're kind of I don't know, we've talked about this before in shows, but shouldn't they be like considering like killing some of these characters? Because everybody else in the town got turned into goo except for our main characters. And it's like
the Brothers Duff, they don't
the Brothers Duff.
The Brothers Duff, the Duffer Brothers. They don't do like they have a couple characters who have character arcs, but they don't really do. They write really good base characteristics for characters, which people get really attached to. They're like, it's almost like the memification of characterization.
Okay, yeah,
you know
I can totally agree with you there. Yeah.
And so it's really hard to choose which one you kill off.
Yeah.
And it's Will.
Oh, you think so? You think it's Will?
I think it's Will. Because I think that puts Winona Ryder's character in her best spot.
Was like absolute loss. Yeah.
Yeah. She plays a distraught woman so amazingly. It gave Jonathan so much life. It gives a lot of great interaction.
But once Will was found, kind of Jonathan and Joyce, which is Winona Ryder, both of them kind of didn't really have as much character development to do, because they kind of served in the beginning to be the main people looking for Will. But like now that Will is found, like what do they do? They can't look for Will anymore, and that's when they're at their best. So they find other ways to fit them in, but really they just find other ways.
It's not
to fit
where they
them
shine. In. Yeah. I forgot who made this point, but someone made this point that like Jonathan's entire arc is because like it's the classic artsy kid gets the girl, even though he's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Because artsy people make these shows.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was the whole point of him being in the show.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it? It really seriously feels that way.
Just like, fuck you, bullies. Look, the weirdo kid got... Oh, we have to keep him in the show.
Yeah.
Shit, what are we going to do with him?
Like, I want to bring up a big con that I feel like happened with this show. They really missed an opportunity to make this a high-quality anthology show. I think that Stranger Things, exactly for the reasons that we've discussed, that now a huge chunk of the cast is now kind of pointless and kind of just thrown in there, sometimes effectively, sometimes not as effectively. But because of that, the show's just going to burn itself off into obsolescence like so many other shows. I feel like they really got a good standout season here, but now I think like this might have been a fluke. It might really start to tank after this. I can't imagine myself being this invested in another season of this show after this season. And so, what I think they probably should have done is made this an anthology show and had one season. I thought that that's what they were going to do. And I was like, that's going to be great. There's going to be a whole new cast, a whole new group of like kids. They could do more kids if they wanted to. It doesn't matter. They could have done whatever they wanted because they could have written any kind of show.
They could have even done like, oh god, what's the show that like uses fucking American Horror Story. You can use those kids again.
And have them in a different role.
Cast them in different roles.
Although it is kind of hard for like child actors to move beyond the like quirky kid who's into geeky stuff but actually is really smart kind of role. Pretty much like all of these kids, it would have been pretty difficult for them to recast those kids without them just being carbon copies. What I think they should have done is they should have had one whole Stranger Things universe, and maybe the town of Hawkins could have other characters in it. Or they could go to like the next town over where weird shit happens that's connected to what happened in the first season. New cast of characters, new issue. And they could have just kept going through them. And then eventually, maybe in season 3, they revisit the kids. you know, or maybe in season 4 they revisit the kids, and then progressively over the series they tie all these together. Characters are crossed over. I think that could have been a lot of fun. I really think that the nature of the title Stranger Things kind of implies that there's going to be more Stranger Things in season 2, not an extension of the already existing Stranger Things, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So while I do like the product of season 3, I think it's fine. I think it's fun. It could maybe it is going to inevitably suffer from the over serialization that we see in a lot of other shows.
Yeah, definitely. I think 3 is probably it's
got to be its pick or a peak.
Yeah. I just there's a lot of hype. I feel like I can't look at anything with clear eyes about this show, and it kind of bugs me.
Yeah, there is a lot of hype behind it. I just found myself really enjoying it, like the whole way through.
It's definitely enjoyable, but it's like for me, it's just enjoyable. And yep, that's a season of Stranger Things. I go in knowing what I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
I wasn't really like baffled by anything that happened, and like that's fine. Like that's not like a bad thing. I just, I'm a big character development guy. And when I think of like great character development in a Netflix show, I think of like fucking Daredevil. Like season 2 is a terrible season, but you get Daredevil who tries to send people to jail and the Punisher in a season together, and they're just having this existential argument about like, well,
fundamentally
fucking
different ways of handling issues. Yeah.
And I just feel like everyone is the same, because it's like you have this nebulous enemy.
Yeah.
It's either the faceless Russians or it's the faceless monster, and it's just like that's why Billy was interesting. Is Billy was like
a villain, but like kind of conflicted, and then kind of half-assed became a anti-hero at the very end.
Yeah, but he just became part of that kind of faceless monster.
Yeah, like an extension of it, really. Yeah, and they even wiped a lot of characterization from him. You know. Yeah. They pretty much uncharacterized him.
He did still flex a lot, though.
It's true.
He did, and he still had hair. And I think that was a lot of his characterization.
Was his hair, yeah. Oh, he had a mustache in season 3.
The brothers Duff. Yeah, the brothers Duff were just like... I think he had a mustache in season 2.
I can't remember, but...
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
And just like, what? Okay, we gotta add a new character.
Yeah.
Maybe he has hair. But doesn't Steve have hair? Yeah, but he has different hair.
Yeah, but his hair rivals Steve's hair.
Oh, shit, that's awesome. What else? I don't know. He doesn't know how to button a shirt because of a learning disability.
And also, he ate lead.
Oh, so he's like violent? Sure, that works too.
And he has a shitty dad. Yeah.
Well, yeah. How else is he going to eat lead?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, man. I don't know.
Not enough upside down.
Almost no upside down.
Yeah,
really.
Billy goes there for no reason randomly and becomes.
Well,
a bad
I don't know though. I don't know if that's not necessarily a good thing, or not necessarily a bad thing, because
I don't know. It's so central at the same time.
Yeah, it's just like they know it's there and that it exists, but they kind of really covered that a lot in the first season and in the second season. Having it again in the third season, it kind of seems like a distant threat now. It's just like, let's bring the upside down to the world, to the real world. Yeah, which is what they were trying to do.
I just feel like there's a missed opportunity, I think, in just that, like, much like every other character the brothers Duff have created, the Upside Down is a character which is very underdeveloped. The whole Upside Down is like, it's like our world, but like gray.
Yeah, but bad.
And there are monsters, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just like, couldn't there be more though?
Right.
Like, I feel like there could be more to it than just like there are monsters. Like, where do the monsters come from?
I really hope that they explore that a little. Oh, I don't know. See, this is a problem that the Alien series suffered from. It's like, where did the monsters come from? It's like, it doesn't matter. And as soon as Alien tried to, like, the Alien franchise tried to define where they came from, it quickly became apparent that it was a mistake.
No, that's very fair. Keeping it nebulous is in a lot of ways a good thing.
It's like fear often comes from the unknown. So as soon as you try to define, as soon as you know where the xenomorph came from, it's like, the mystery is over, which makes it so much less scary and just kind of stupid. Don't
you ever fucking quote H.P. Lovecraft at me again?
The xenomorph?
No, the oldest fear, or The oldest. What's the?
You don't even know. All right, nice try. We're moving on.
The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown.
Cool.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Huh.
From one of his letters to what's his face? God, I can't remember any of my Lovecraft facts.
Anyway.
Anyway.
So there's some like Lovecraftian stuff going on in this.
Yeah, that's like the two things that were interesting about this show to me when it first came out was kind of cosmic horror stuff, but less because cosmic horror would be like if Stranger Things met Midsummer.
Okay, yeah.
Like where it has that level of disorientation and esotericism, but with horrific creatures.
It's never going to go in that direction, unfortunately. It's just not. Especially at this point. It's like now the next season is literally, it's forced to top this season. So it's just going to get bigger and dumber. Is all that's going to happen from here. It's going to be constantly...
It's a shadow monster, but it's even larger.
But this time it's bigger. Or no, they're going to loop back around to like the Demogorgons. And they're going to be like, now there's 1,000 of them again. You know?
The last season is going to be a Tarrasque because they called it a mind flayer, and I just it's like, come on.
Yeah, whatever.
Like that was part of the other poll was like, they mentioned Dungeons and Dragons and 1,000 geeky boys had simultaneous orgasms. And then now they're like clinging to it. They had like the kind of Hackney scene where the Duffer Brothers have no idea what Dungeons and Dragons actually is, so they dress a kid up in like a child's Halloween costume of Dave the Wizard.
Right. That's how it is.
That was kind of cringy for me. But yeah.
Well, that's how it is. It's the public perception of Dungeons and Dragons, which worked for netting viewers. You know?
Yeah.
Like
probably got Dungeons and Dragons more popular. Which
totally did.
Kind of I'm happy about, but kind of bummed out by.
Yeah. It is very mainstream. Easier to find players now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, Ash. In summation, how are we going to wrap this bad boy up, Ash? If you have 5 words to say about Stranger Things, if you have a rating and a review, we could take this one on home.
All right, I got 5 words.
All right, hell yeah.
A season of Stranger Things.
A season of Stranger Things. All right, hell yeah.
This sure was a season of Stranger Things, albeit they did some of the things that I really wanted. They brought in a bigger budget. They showed that they actually cared about one of their flagship shows. I was complaining to you before the season had come on that like maybe stop making like pensive post-apocalyptic dramas, Netflix, and give money to your flagships.
Oh, but they're cheap.
So they can make a good product.
I bet you they're cheap to make or something. They just have to green screen in some characters. Well, anyway, sorry. Not to derail you.
This show has reached Game of Thrones levels of characters without any of the development behind them. All the characters I wanted to see more of, I didn't see enough of, and all the characters I didn't care about, I saw way too much of. Hopper's an asshole. Don't at me. He's a weird, abusive parent, and I'm not down. Stop glorifying it, brother's Duff. I just, I think that part of it was the hype, but this felt very much like a season of Stranger Things, and I wasn't particularly surprised by the content. I keep waiting for them to kind of blow my mind the way the first season did, where it felt like something completely new. But they found a formula. They're going with it. I respect it in a capacity, but at the same time, as a viewer and a lover of story, I want to see them do something with it instead of spinning their wheels. I saw a lot of potential this season. I think they went further than they had in season 2 in terms of making something good. I think it had some really big positives, but they're not quite there yet.
All right.
They got a little bit to figure out. I'm going to give this a 6.5. Out of 10 as picky TV guy of the group.
Picky TV guy of the podcast. I didn't say that very well at all, but there you go. You have it. I didn't do my stretching.
All right, Strokey, what are your 5?
All right, my 5 words. Stranger Things should be anthological. I don't know if that's a word. I don't care, but it gets my point across. Right? I find that Stranger Things 3, while big, it's ostentatious, really well lit, it's shiny, too many characters, sure, but it was big, dumb, it was fun. I watched it all in one day, or at least most of it in one day, and then watched the rest on like the next day or something like that. I thought it was a lot of fun. It just like fucking hit me. It just got me. What?
I love how you're like, I watched it all in one day. Actually, it was more like 2 days, and it's just like you could just say you watched it all in one day, man.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Have to be so honest.
I have to be honest about this. I didn't watch it all in one day, but like, I liked it. I really did, for reasons that aren't super intelligent. But this is no longer a super intelligent show. When you say,
all right, wait, the TV show or our podcast?
Oh, the TV show. I mean, the podcast has never been a super intelligent show, but but yeah, the TV show. And I don't know, man. It's just like it hits notes for me that it just reminds me of my childhood. It has callbacks to things that I find are fun, but they, sometimes border on legitimate plagiarism. But other times it's just like a fun reworking and throwing these characters into the mix. It's almost like it's a fantasy land. Like it's very clearly not supposed to be an accurate representation of reality, which I think is great. I think a lot of the mysterious elements don't really work so much anymore in favor of the more action-packed or horror-filled scenes. I think that's the direction that they're going to go in. It should have been an anthology. They should have done like connecting stories. I've said it already. I'm not going to say it again, but
this would have been a great story with different
right. Like they could have done this, but in a different town on the other side. And it's like you find out at the very end that it's actually connected to what happened in season 1. Right?
Yeah. Or it takes place in Soviet Russia, and there are Americans underneath a Russian shopping mall.
And it's just a parallel universe. All of the kids are just the same characters.
Hey, Blatt.
Oh my god.
Have you told... Sorry.
Dude, that guy
Avery...
does not like your idea.
Avery, you know what? I'm actually going to bump it from a 6.5 to a 7.5 because you watched a full season of television.
Yes!
In like a day.
It happened!
Anything that makes you finish a season of TV,
I love it.
For
I love it. I love it. Oh man,
I support you watching TV.
Yeah, that's true. I just liked it, man. I'm gonna give Stranger Things season 3 an 8 out of 10. I think it's a strong entry into the series. I think it's better. It lacks a little bit of the mysticism the first season had that I think like really is what caught me up in the series and like got me to care about it a little bit. But it is just such a step above the second season that I am absolutely excited about it, and I was excited to talk about it too. And I am sad to say that I legitimately think that it's hit its peak, and I don't think there's any way it's going to get any better than this one. But still, good season.
Yeah, great.
Had fun. Would do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, maybe. I don't think I'll watch it again, but
do it.
I will, and then let's review it again. And again.
All right. All right. It was a bad idea when I said it about Mean Girls too, and a objectively better piece of art.
I hate you, dude.
I get that a lot, actually. Strangers, mostly.
Stranger Things. No, that's right. I said it.
Yeah.
All right. Great, Ash.
They said the name.
He said
the name of the thing.
All right. So, Ash, thank you so much for talking to me about this. I was very excited. I think I needed it. I had to get it out of my system.
All right. I was not excited to talk about the show, but you made it quite fun. Thank you.
Of course, of course.
Thank you.
Great co-host. Thanks. We can applaud ourselves here, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I was mad.
All right, guys, on that note, thank you so much for listening to us. We will talk to you all next week for The Fighter. We love you. Goodbye. What was that?